due to everything that J-Lo has accomplished during her career, she's gained enough clout in the business to be able to make demands and have some celebrity ego, of course. But at what point does it all become a little too much? So, according to Danni Minogue, for her, it was J-Lo's insane ultimatums, and she's not alone in that. Some of the reports about Lopez's most egregious sounding on-set demands and ultimatums aren't just from projects she stars in, but also even when she's appearing on a show just for a single day. According to a report for her BBC interview, Lopez required enough dressing rooms for a 90-person entourage if she was going to show up on the day of. In 2022, Danni Minogue shared what J-Lo was like on their shared episode of Top of the Pops. Minogue and Lopez were set to feature during the same filming, but Lopez, at the last second, threatened not to show. And according to Minogue, it was unless her backstage room was redecorated. I was told everything had to be white, including the sofa. All I could think is girlfriend is covered head to toe in body makeup. How do you sit on an all-white couch? Meanwhile, when she's the star of the show is quite literally revolving around her power-tripping schedule. According to an insider who spoke to Now magazine in 2011, Lopez demanded to eat at exact times every day, no matter what was happening. If the natural lighting was just right, if everything was set up perfectly, Lopez would still walk off set at 10:15 on the dot to eat food specially made for her. This source was from the set of What to Expect When You're Expecting, a movie that J-Lo filmed with Cameron Diaz, and the two famously didn't get along following her next worst J-Lo moment, the movie line interview, which went down in history, man. In an era of interviews PR managed within an inch of their lives, it's rare for a major star to shred into another, let alone half a dozen. But times were different in 1998, and while speaking the movie line, Jennifer Lopez appeared on a mission to burn bridges with every female actor of her generation. When asking Lopez why she believed she was even popular in Hollywood at the time, her answer was simply, because I'm the best. During that interview, described as an orchestrated and deliberate scene, J-Lo's lounging by her swimming pool mid-massage as she proceeds to say that Cameron Diaz was a lucky model who had given a lot of opportunities I just wish she would have done more with. That she didn't know any work Gwen Paltrow did, and that she was famous by association to Brad Pitt. Oh, she also said she wasn't a fan of Winona Ryder, and even S-shamed Salma Hayek and bravely slated another multi-talent Madonna by saying, do I think she's a great actress? No, acting is what I do. So I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft. Your craft, J-Lo? Bit of a stretch for someone who bit the hand who fed her. And I'm of course talking about her relationship with Rosie Perez, because J-Lo wouldn't have a career without her, yet bashes her. Perez was the choreographer at an open casting call for In Living Color in 1991. While the show's creator called J-Lo a chubby and corny looking girl during audition, Rosie saw potential in dancing, was adamant they gave J-Lo a chance. But in her autobiography, Perez recalled that soon, quote, all of the girls are coming into my office, complaining how J-Lo is manipulating wardrobe, manipulating makeup, and me, all to her advantage, Perez wrote. Adding in that when she confronts Lopez about this, she reacted like, quote, some ghetto biatch, screaming and pounding her chest. Though Lopez left In Living Color after just 2 seasons, once she made it big in Hollywood, she went right on a smear campaign on Perez, making disparaging comments about the woman. I was blindsided, Perez said. I thought we were cool. I called her up and she wouldn't pick up. And then the next time the pair run into each other, J-Lo pretends nothing ever happened. Nothing new. J-Lo likes to pretend a lot of things, like that her career wasn't built off of theft. It starts, of course, with Sony chairman Tommy Mottola and his contentious divorce from Mariah Carey. The newly Sony-side J-Lo was young and pretty and very desperate, so Tommy chose to use her as his pawn to try and sabotage Mariah's Glitter soundtrack, and he did so by giving J-Lo the same samples and beats he saw Mariah using. Mariah's single still comes out on top, but Mottola did, however, find success in damaging Mariah's career, and J-Lo and her team learned that her success laid in using the work of other artists. She especially profited off of Black underground artists, either by literally using their vocals or by taking and rewriting their songs with differing lyrics. Said artists were those like Shantae Moore, Christina Milian, Usher, Mariah Carey, and of course Ashanti, who wrote Ain't It Funny, and Natasha Ramos, who wrote Jenny from the Block. Both artists' backgrounds, ad-libs, laughs, and main vocals were used in the songs but uncredited. J-Lo's theft of music became so persistent and even repetitive for some artists that many began leaking their own music so J-Lo wouldn't steal it. And Usher was the first, but definitely not the last, to loudly sue the singer and win for it. But just like J-Lo, since The Block was mentioned, I'm now going to bring it up and tell numerous stories about it. This first one, how Jenny caused a fiasco. So Lopez once starred in a Fiat commercial in which she drove around the Bronx and explained why her old neighborhood continues to inspire her. Her deal with the Italian manufacturer was reportedly worth millions, yet she refused to actually return to the block that she sang about and forced Fiat to find a body double to do so. The owner of Mott Haven Barbershop shop seen in the ad said the commercial featuring the Fiat 500 car drove up and down the street of East 136, but Lopez was not at the wheel. Instead, it was a double that looked like her. JLo's people refused to comment on it, but Fiat was forced to, and they make a public statement explaining that the body double was because of scheduling decisions. I guess I can't be too surprised given that JLo even went so as far to refuse financial aid to her own old high school and community. Jenny from the Block has donated, rather stingily and minimally over the years, to charity, but never to her own suffering neighborhood, which has now been criticized by her former principal, Claire Latempa from the Holy Family School, for allegedly turning her back on the community. Latempa, who worked alongside the star's own mother, Lupe, at the school, tells the New York Daily News, "Jennifer hasn't even sent us a CD. Her mother, Lupe, was wonderful. A sweetie. Wonderful with the kids. When Jennifer became famous, I asked Lupe if Jennifer could donate a scholarship in her name, and Lupe said, that's her money and that's it." The school board has since sent inquiries to the singer in the past asking for potential scholarships be set up in her name for prominent music or dance students, but they've received no response. And Latempa adds that the recession hit parents hard. Many of them are single mothers. A lot have lost their job. And she said, "I have one mother who worked at St. Vincent's Hospital for 25 years who's out of work. It's a hard time for families to make tuition. I keep praying she'll donate." It's hard to imagine JLo will donate anything though when she did something like the casino reclaim. Several TikTok users have accused Lopez of not tipping her waitstaff, but two stories in particular take the cake, or in this case, the tip. So TikTok user Penny claims that her friend, once employed at the Las Vegas Tavern, told her about serving Ben Affleck one night, and he gave said friend a $10K tip for the service. But once JLo caught wind of the tip money, she allegedly took it back. Apparently, Affleck was so mortified that the next day he sent a bouquet and $25,000 tip to the server. In a second TikTok now deleted, a woman corroborates this story, claiming the couple's notoriously anti-tipping. Lopez tells Affleck not to tip. He doesn't tip anymore though, baby. You don't need to tell him nothing. He ain't doing it. Taking back tips is some next level behavior from a millionaire like JLo, but the woman also cares so little about livelihood of others, she makes her staff jump through hoops. So, a flight attendant told Star Magazine how JLo refused to even acknowledge him after he asked to take her drink order. Instead, she turned her head away and told her personal assistant, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and a lime." And in 2022, amid TikTok's storm of fans sharing negative encounters with Lopez, one user, Kayla, shared how her father worked for a driving company, but he refused to drive for JLo after learning her rules. Drivers can't look at her or talk to her, they can't let her luggage touch the ground, and if they even glance through the rearview mirror at her, they could be subjected to a scolding. This is believable since a woman on Quora, Emily Watford, shared her experience working in a concert arena and watching a doorman get fired for making eye contact with JLo. And there is rumors of a construction crew from her house who were all banned from eye contact as well. It's absolutely insane to me though how stingy JLo is given how much money she makes, but even worse is she has incredibly low standards for earning it as well. Like performing for dictators. According to the Human Rights Watch, Turkmenistan is one of the world's most repressive countries. So it was little surprise that JLo is heavily criticized when she agreed to perform for its president's 56th birthday celebrations in 2013. This man's a tyrant responsible for breaching countless human rights laws, and she declared, "It was our pleasure" towards the end of her set, and "We wish you the very happiest of birthdays." Lopez representatives pleaded ignorance following the public backlash, one claiming in a statement that the A-lister would have turned down the invitation if she'd been aware of the president's past, as if she doesn't have access to Google. It would have been a viable excuse also if JLo hadn't already done similarly before. She took to the stage for an Aussie oligarch and then a Uzbek businessman's wedding for $1 million sums. And ahead of two controversial gigs in Russia, she reportedly told fans, "I don't like to talk politics, to be quite honest." But she seems really okay dropping political words. You know, like when JLo thought everyone would let her get away with dropping a slur in her 2001 remix of I'm Real. Not only did the song have zero similarity to the original whatsoever, but the Latina singer bravely drops the N-word in the opening verse. Penned by Jarul, who also rapped on the record, and its producer Irv Gotti, the track quickly came under fire from Hot 97, Star, and Buckwild. The morning radio DJs implored listeners to voice their disapproval of the song, and even planned to throw rice and beans at Lopez when she took to the Rockefeller Center's outdoor plaza stage for the Today Show. Edward Hopkins told the Washington Post at the event, "The singer still needs to make amends," stating when your music is geared towards suburbanites, there's a certain way you should carry yourself. Using a word like that when less than a third of her audience is African American or Latino is inappropriate. Lopez, however, never apologized for the stunt, instead insisting in a quote, "For anyone to think or suggest or say that I'm racist is really absurd and hurtful to me." A statement which very obviously doesn't actually even address her usage of the word at all, let alone the true reason that people were criticizing her. So, there you have it. JLo's worst moments. Do you think she got away with them? Comment down below, and until next time, don't forget to drop a like or share this this video with a friend.